Good morning, Garden of England, Saturday. I promised, I think 2 or 3 videos ago, that I would provide some links. I want to do that this morning. I'll stick them down at the bottom of this video. But look, what I wanted to maybe pick up on is, I've had a fantastic week. And I think what I want to share with you is basically this. At my age, now that I've hit this big 0 number, I don't really think I want to listen to a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old, with respect to them, maybe even a 50-year-old, telling me how to find healthy longevity. I would rather find someone in my age group who's already doing it and has got extraordinary results. And that has been a big motivation, and by coincidence, this week a MindStore member got in touch to tell me that she's in her 70th birthday too, and she aims to run 7,000 miles over the course of this year, and she's running 70 miles sort of thing. She's quite extraordinary. I've asked her if she'd consider doing an interview. That might be amazing. But also, when I give you these links, look at the 70-year-old lady who has the facial skin of a 40-year-old. Yeah, a 70-year-old with the facial skin of 40. If you can put up with the sort of Christianity, the Catholicism that shows up in the interview that Tammy Peterson did with Mimi Morgan. Mimi Morgan is in her early 70s. She's completely reversed out of Parkinson's. She had a massive stroke. She's exercising, she's walking distances. She looks and is absolutely amazing in terms of her thinking, her clarity, just extraordinary. Over 70. And Tammy herself, who has reversed out of, listen to this, stage 4 cancer. Both of them with carnivore and their emerging faith, which of course with a faith brings hope, and if you like for us, programming with desire, belief and expectation. Seriously powerful. But if you don't want to put up with the Christianity bit, look for Mimi Morgan elsewhere. She's been in lots of wonderful carnivore podcasts, and you don't have to put up with the faith if that's your thing, and I respect that. But also, here's the thing, these exercises that I'm getting great progress with, and the dog is barking. Hold on a second. No barking. On you go. So, the guy who's introduced me to this exercise regime, which already, having done it for 6 days over 2 weeks, the Monday, the Wednesday, the Friday, is so easy, and yet I'm getting results. And you'll get results, even if you're doing the press-ups against the wall, against your sink, down on your knees still. You don't need to do it right at the way that you have done it when you were a 20-year-old, now that you're well on and maybe carrying a bit of timber. But you'll get there. And you know what? It wasn't a 30-year-old influencer. It wasn't someone who's got thousands and thousands of videos about how to do this, that and the other with equipment in the gym. It's a 72-year-old man who started not that long ago, and you see the shape he's in. It's inspiring. It's inspiring. So I'm going to share these links with you. Now, of course, what's critical also is trusting in the concoction and the whole way that methylene blue thing came into my mind, and how that started to develop. And so if you can go back through Facebook, if you don't remember that, I need to find a way of telling that story on here for those of you who just follow me on YouTube. And for goodness sake, will you please like and subscribe? That costs you nothing. You don't get anything out of it other than you'll get noticed that I've done a video. But you help the algorithm, don't you? You help good MindStore people find it. find what we're doing. This stuff could be life-changing, could be life-saving. And that woman that's got the 40-year-old skin on her face who's 70, she gives us insights on how to get methylene blue, or the equivalent of methylene blue, in a different way, and that's in the concoction. And why don't you this weekend, if you haven't started yet, resolve to begin the exercise process on Monday? Maybe be inspired by watching the video of the guy I'll give you the link to. But more importantly, get the concoction going. And yes, I admitted I was doing half a teaspoon of those powders, but it was running right through me. Now I've got it down to quarter teaspoons of the powders, and it's going really well. Now at some point I may begin to add a wee bit more, see that my system can benefit from it. I'll also give you a link, if I can, to where I discovered this alternative to the glycine, having to use supplementation by just using gelatin. I'm not necessarily subscribing to the lady who does that, it's just that it showed up because I was interested in a recipe. Now, as you know, MindStore works, but this stuff's working too. And I will, as I said already this week, I will introduce you to some of the hacks I use for sleeping. They're very powerful because the sleep side of the third act is absolutely critical. I'll share that at the start of next week. I've got the interview lined up with this amazing lady with an extraordinary resource that we can use, especially those of us who are on the low carb spectrum. I think that's going to be extraordinary. She doesn't necessarily talk about that, but there is a separate video where an interview where it comes up, and I'm going to reach out to these people who brought that to my attention, see if I can get an interview with them because they're English. Now, when I come back from holiday, I'm going to start to do some genuine coaching around MindStore techniques, because we've got extraordinary techniques. And the thing about MindStore, and I'm really going to get into this as we move along, MindStore's not about you. It's not about you using tools and techniques. And some people over the years have used them, listen to this, selfishly, because they've never shared them. They didn't bring anyone to a course. They kept it privately to themselves as they programmed critical meetings and events, and you had their notebooks running and created stuff. But how empty could that be if they never really understood what MindStore was about, which is about showing up, being the best version of yourself. Not for you, but for the benefit of the other human beings who will be impacted, if you like, by your performance, by your programmed outcome, who will benefit from it. And we're clear about that with the fourth screen. Most of the people in my field don't get the fourth screen. And the other thing that lots of them don't get, and you can tell I'm getting passionate about this, they don't understand that there's another element to all of this. And the dog's barking. It's Source. Now Source is drawing me to do this phase stuff of Act 3, and Source supplied me with a series of extraordinary coincidences that led to that methylene blue thing. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you need to find a way, and I'll find a way to let you know. But I got up early on a New York morning, came out of the hotel that we had checked in the night before. I could have crossed the street, I could have gone left or right, and I turned right to go and get the coffees for the morning. Yeah, I'm on holiday, I'm going to have a coffee. I'm not working. And there is the Blue Bottle coffee bar. The Blue Bottle. Methylene blue. Oh my God. You can deny source. You can deny that you attract people, places, opportunities because of your dominant thinking, and especially with our programming. By the way, when you're not programming, when you're not focused consciously on contributing to this world, and you get into negative thought patterns and you become a negative person, and you know what you also do with your dominant thoughts? You attract exactly the people, the places, the opportunities you need to be more negative. To be more negative. Negativity cannot play a part anywhere in the third act. And in the third act, your responsibility, if you deserve a healthy longevity, it comes from showing up, being the best version of yourself in the interest of others. And you know, and I know, that MindStore provides the methodologies, but more importantly now, third act activity. What you're eating, what you're drinking, the concoction, any supplementation, and more importantly, these exercises, and getting out in the fresh air and staring into the sun, even if like this morning it's covered in cloud. This stuff makes a difference. I'll see you on Monday. Bye now.